Hello, welcome to Jason the Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my bedroom in the great state of Kansas, and continuing my top 100 favorite albums list. We did 100 through 76. Now we're going to do 75 through 51 on this video. So let's get to it. At number 75, we have Heart of Stone by Cher, 1989 pop record by the great Cher. This is definitely one of her best. This is the best album I've heard of her. I think it's one of her most popular albums. I was introduced to this by Briar from Briar's Music Showcase and our album exchange. Put this, and I've been wanting to listen to more Cher, and then he put this album out, and the more I listen to it, the more I really love this album. It's a great 80s pop record. Has Cher's, I think, best song on it, If I Could Turn Back Time. Amazing song to start off the album. But a lot of good stuff, like Heart of Stone is a good song. I really like Emotional Fire and Love on the Rooftop. And then After All, the closer, it's a duet with Peter Cetera, which was in a movie. It's a incredible duet, like one of the best duets I've ever heard to close the album anyway. So yeah, really good Cher album here at number 75. At number 74, we have Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi. This is definitely Bon Jovi's biggest album, most famous album. And I actually only heard it recently, again, on the album exchange on my channel. Jacob Martin put this on the album exchange, and it's an album I've been meaning to get to, but I never thought myself as like a big 80s rock fan or Bon Jovi fan or anything like that. I knew some of his big hits, but it turns out his big hits are on this album. That's why it was such a big seller. But I mean, You Give a Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer, and Wanted Dead or Alive. I mean, three of his biggest songs ever. I mean, especially Living on a Prayer. That's so iconic to the 80s and Bon Jovi. Really fun song. But all three of those are great. But then there's other great stuff on this album as well. Even some more ballad type songs on here that really work along with the rockers anyway. So yeah, great 80s rock album here, Slippery When Wet. Number 73, I got a big album here. You might be surprised at how low it is, but I'm not the biggest fan of this album as other people are, but I still think it's an amazing album. That's why it says high, but that is Abbey Road by the Beatles. Yes, everybody knows Abbey Road. It's number one on most people's lists. It's funny. It's my seventh favorite Beatles album. I have 6 Beatles albums in front of this one. It's considered like their last masterpiece, album, or not last, but second to last album. And it does have 3 of my favorite songs on the album. That's why it's still on my list here. Come Together is maybe their best rock song, I think, ever. And then you got the 2 like best George Harrison songs ever, Something and Here Comes the Sun. Amazing ballads. Something probably the best love ballad that the Beatles ever did. And yeah, those 3 songs on its own gives us an album that should be on the top 100. I also really like the Ringo song, Octopus's Garden. I think it's a really great Ringo song. Besides that, I'm not as big on some of the other stuff here. Of course, I really don't like Oh Darling. It's my worst, one of my least favorite Beatles songs. Maxwell Silverhammer, not that great. I Want You, She's So Heavy is almost great, but it's just too long. If it's shorter, I would like it a lot better. The backside, again, it's just a mishmash of songs that are decent, but not my favorite. I mean, Golden Slumbers is good. Carry That Weight. You Never Give Me Your Money. There's some good stuff there, but it's not top tier Beatles for me. That's why it's not a top tier Beatles album for me. But yeah, there's Abbey Road at 73. 72, we have Led Zeppelin 2 by Led Zeppelin. This is an incredible rock album from 69. It's my second favorite Led Zeppelin album. It's got multiple hits on it. Definitely a must for rock fans. But you start with Whole Lot of Love, probably the best opener to a Led Zeppelin album. My favorite opener. I mean, what an incredible song to start it off with that incredible riff and Palmer's incredible vocals on that. But then it goes right into What Is It and What Should Never Be, a great song. And then you got on the second side, Heartbreaker, which goes right into Living, Loving, Made, She's Just a Woman, and then Ramble On. I mean, those are 3 big hits right in a row. I mean, so there's like 5 huge hits on here. So yeah, it's a great rock album by Led Zeppelin. We'll get another one here, much farther on the list. All right, 71, we have Back Home Again by John Denver. This is a great folk album from John Denver. Big John Denver fan. This definitely is a little more country than his other two albums before this. And I tend to not like the country side of John Denver as much, but still has some incredible hit songs on here, including "Back Home Again," the title song opening up the album. Matthew is a great song. Mentions the state of Kansas in it, which I love. Thank God I'm Country Boy. I'm not a fan of that one. It's a little too country for me because I'm not a country boy. But the second side, you open up with the biggest song on the album, one of his greats, Annie's song, incredible love song, starting that up. And you also get This Old Guitar to close the album out, which is another amazing John Denver song. So a lot of good hits here. Another great album from John Denver. Number 70, we have Beach Boys Today by the Beach Boys. This is my second favorite Beach Boys album, and it's fairly close to right before Pet Sounds, which I'll spoil my list, but that's my favorite Beach Boys album. It's gonna be farther along the list, and it's the big, famous album. But Beach Boys Today definitely is an album that really showcases Brian Wilson starting to, grow as a writer and arranger and all that, and doing more serious type songs and going a little bit away from the usual surfing and car songs, and doing other things. And of course, obviously, the harmonies are amazing, great melodies, all that Brian Wilson's so good at. And Mike Love is great at the lyrics as well on a lot of songs like this. But yeah, so this is an album that's kind of a precursor to Pet Sounds. Like, this is where Brian Wilson is really trying to become one of the greats, which which we all agree that he is. But the big song here I love is "When I Grew Up to Be a Man." It's an amazing written song and great chorus melodies and all that. "Help Me Rhonda" is the big hit on here. That's probably the biggest hit. Super catchy song. Love that one. "Do You Want to Dance?" I think is a good cover on here, and also "Dance Dance Dance" is pretty darn good. But yeah, overall, another great Beach Boys pop record here at number 70. So at 69, we're getting "Double Vision" by Foreigner. This is my favorite Foreigner album, so it's the only one on the list. But there's a couple of really good Foreigner albums. I've just kind of getting to Foreigner recently, and bought this album actually on a whim from the record store, not ever hearing it, and hoping it was a good album, and then hearing it, going, "Wow, this is an amazing album." 10 out of 10 right away kind of thing. It does have two huge hits, of course. "Double Vision" is a great song. It's one of my favorite Foreigner songs. Definitely a highlight here. Also begins with "Hot Blooded," which is another big hit of his. Good rock song by them. Also, "Blue Morning Blue Day" is really great as well. But there's a lot of good hidden gems here too. Some good more, they have good rockers and good ballads here overall. So it's overall just an excellent 80s, I want to say 80s, right? Yeah. Let's see, no, 70s, sorry, 78. So great 70s rock album here at 69. Number 68, we have "Buffalo Springfield Again" by Buffalo Springfield. This is their second album. I have two Buffalo Springfield albums on the list, and there's only 3 Buffalo Springfield albums that were made, so pretty good percentage. 2 of their 3 are on my list. I love Buffalo Springfield. I think they should have been a much bigger band. They just didn't get very far because they broke up basically after the second album, and basically the third one out when Neil Young left the group already. But I mean, you got Stephen Stills and Neil Young and Richie Furay. I mean, 3 incredible singers and songwriters. It's got a great sound to it. It's during that folk rock period. Though this one has also some psychedelic rock mixed in. More psychedelic rock than the first album, and a little bit country in there because Furay was more country. But yeah, "Mr. Soul" is an incredible rock song that starts off the album. Neil Young, I mean, it's psychedelic kind of rock, the hard rock that we never heard. I've never heard up to that point. It seems like. Or they haven't done before on the first album. But yeah, lots of good stuff. Like I say, Furay puts in some good country kind of stuff. Steels does his thing. Just incredible work by all 3, but a very underrated album. First album is the big one. Second one, though, it's really an album. Every time I listen to it, it's kind of rising up my rankings. I really enjoy it. So that's at number 68. Number 67, here we have "Running on Empty" by Jackson Browne. Yeah, this is a big one for Jackson Browne, and I've kind of gotten to Jackson Browne a little bit more recently. Been hearing more albums of his in the '70s period because I always love his big hits. It's got a great sound. He's a singer songwriter type, you know. And Running on Empty, of course, the title song is definitely one of my favorite Jackson Browne songs. So that really helps the album out. But overall, I just love Jackson Browne's singing. Sounds great. Great melodies overall. There's a couple rockers in there, but as well. But love his more folk style, I guess, or folk rock, folk pop style that he has on the album. And it has a incredible closer with the Loadout and Stay. They kind of tie in together, those two songs, and it's such a fun song to listen to as well, about kind of autobiographical about the band, not him not wanting to leave the stage, you know, and talking about all the traveling they have to do. I love those kind of songs, and that's a really great song to end the album. But this is a new one on the list because I just got into this recently, and it's already got to 67 on my list, so it could be an album that could keep growing on my list as well. But yeah, Running on Empty at 67. Number 66, we have No Jacket Required by Phil Collins. This is Phil Collins' huge album from 1985. It won Grammy Album of the Year. So he's already a superstar at this point with Genesis, and then his first album, Face Value, and then following it with this one, his most popular album of all time. And I'm a big Phil Collins fan. Love his singing, love his overall sound, love his 80s pop sound. And we start off with Susudia, which is a nice upbeat song, a lot of great horns. Really good horns on this album, too. I love the horn section here. One More Night, oh my gosh, one of the most incredible ballads. So smooth, vocally just amazing. I love One More Night. It was great. And then the closer, Take Me Home, is another incredible closer. Another incredible vocal work, and musically it's just amazing by Phil Collins. Yeah, so obviously big Phil Collins fans, you have to have No Jacket Required. It's like a required album to be on the list. At 65, I have my favorite kind of, I think, maybe the best psychedelic rock album, and that's Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix. I mean, there's other albums that are probably considered psychedelic rock that are on my list, but when I think of psychedelic rock, this is my go-to album, and this is my go-to Jimi Hendrix album. He only made 3 of them. Other 2 are fine, but this one's just a great hits of Jimi Hendrix, and Jimi Hendrix is my favorite guitar player. Every time I listen to this album, I'm still amazed by the guitar playing. I'm still like, how is he making those sounds out of that guitar? It's so cool. Even today, I don't hear anybody doing the thing that Jimi Hendrix did. I feel like I'm just so amazed. The guitar soloing, the riffs, I mean, he had it all. I mean, like I said, this album has Purple Haze, my favorite Jimi Hendrix song. That guitar riff to start the song is one of the greatest guitar riffs ever to start a song. And it's an amazing rock song. But you also have like Hey Joe and The Wind Cries Mary. Fire is an amazing song. Not one of his big hits, but it should have been. It was. I've heard in commercials. It's an amazing rock song as well. Manic Depression is a pretty good song as well. And Foxy Lady. I love Foxy Lady. That is another amazing guitar playing and just a fun song. But yeah, so having all these amazing songs on one album is crazy. And that's why it has to be high on my list here at number 65. At number 64, we have Boston by Boston, one of their great debut albums. Another album that seems like the greatest hits of Boston. Boston was such a great arena rock band. And you start off with More Than Feeling, my favorite Boston song, but also one of the greatest rock songs of the 70s. That guitar riff, the vocal work, it's just so iconic, and everybody loves that song. But it also has Foreplay, Long Times, a really good song. Rock and Roll Band, Smoking, Hitching a Ride. It's like, out of the 8 songs, like 6 of these or so are like hit songs. That's a crazy percentage of the album being like big hits for the band, all in one album. So yeah, no surprise, it's here, the debut here at number 64 on my list. Number 63, we're going back to Phil Collins. This is my favorite Phil Collins album, But Seriously, by Phil Collins. This one, I believe, is his maybe 4th album. after No Jacket Required, and another one at around that time. So this isn't considered as iconic as like Face Value and No Jacket Required are the two big ones everybody, because it has some of those biggest hits on those two albums. But this album has some great hits as well, and just overall, it's like I like just every song on here so much. I like it slightly above No Jacket Required here. It's just a couple spots down, but stuff like That's Just the Way It Is, Do You Remember, Something Happened on the Way to Heaven, Colors is a great cover song, and then I Wish It Would Rain Down, another great hit, and then my favorite, Another Day in Paradise, just a great 80s pop song. Again, love his vocals on all this stuff, but yeah, another one definitely check out, but seriously, a great Phil Collins album. Number 62, we have Sleepwalker by the Kinks. This is my favorite Kinks album. So I've talked about 3 Kinks albums, I believe, on my list. And Sleepwalker is my favorite, which, again, nobody talks about Sleepwalker. It is so good of an album and so underrated of an album that nobody talks about. They talk about Green Preservation Society, Arthur, Lola, are kind of the big ones. And you might even say Face to Face or something else by the Kinks and all of that. But again, I love the more later albums by the Kinks that seem like they're past their prime period, but they're still putting out some great stuff. Sleepwalker is I'd say a great rock album. Has some great ballads as well, but definitely a good rocker. Said no big hits, but like Sleepwalker, the main song is amazing. So darn catchy. Like Jukebox Music is a great rock song off of here. But 2 of my favorite are Stormy Sky is a great catchy pop song, or ballad style. And then Life Goes On is one of my all-time favorite Kinks songs. I mean, it wasn't a hit, nobody talks about the song, but it's, again, very catchy. I love the vocals and everything on it. I mean, you're talking about 3 songs that are like in my top 20 favorite Kinks songs on this album. So yeah, very underrated, great Kinks album here. Sleepwalker at 62. Number 61 is a fairly well-known album, big one. This is Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. This comes, it's the only album I really love after the 60s. I'm mostly into the 60s work, but then Blood on Tracks is a great album from 75, I believe, and has a couple of big known songs on it, but then a lot of great just hidden gems as well on this album. I mean, you start off with Tangled Up in Blue, a really kind of well-known song from him, a very good one as well. Then the other big one, which is one of my all-time favorites, is Shelter from the Storm, which gets played a lot, I feel like, on movies and stuff. And yeah, it's amazing, just the shelter from the storm. Just that repeating of that line constantly through it. No chorus, just a verse. But I don't know, just great melodies. Even though he's not a good singer, somehow his voice works for the song really well. But Shelter from Storm, it's like a top 5 favorite Bob Dylan song on here. Really highlight of it. But other good stuff, like Simple Twist of Fate is great. Idiot Wind's pretty catchy as well. If You See Her Say Hello is a great song. Really, really nice. And Lily Rosemary and Jack of Hearts, great deep cut on the album anyways. But yeah, really great 70s album by Bob Dylan here. Number 60, we got Renaissance by The Association. I said I already had Inside Out by The Association, now we got Renaissance. Again, nobody puts Association albums on any list, but I absolutely love The Association. Love that 60s folk rock period, mid-60s period, and they have such incredible harmonies. They're so underrated as a band. They only had like 4 big hits, but even this album, Renaissance, this is my favorite Association album, and it has no big hits on it, but there's so many songs that should have been big hits, I feel like, that are just absolutely incredible, including No Fair at All. No Fair at All is my second favorite Association song. Wasn't a hit, but man, is it amazing. And it's got some of the best harmonies I've ever heard. It's a very kind of laid-back, chill song. It's just one of those songs that's just so, it's just calm, so calming of a song. You just want to close your eyes and just let it go over you. I don't know. I love No Fair at All. And every time I show this song to anybody, or this album to everybody always agrees No Fair at All is the best song on the album and should have been a hit for them. But good stuff like I'm the One that started off the album's great. Memories of You, that's one I really thought should have been a big hit too. It's super catchy, great chorus, great harmonies in it. Um, but let's go down the line, a lot of good stuff. You Hear Me Call Your Name, and then Another Time, Another Place, the close album, or Another Favorites. And they're all like under 3 minute songs. It's that 60s period, where everything's short, but it's short but sweet, super incredible melodies and harmonies and all that. And definitely one I always tell people to check out. It's like not enough people know about this album and about the association. They should be talked about more anyway. So yeah, at number 60, Renaissance there. Number 59, we have one of the biggest albums of the 90s, and that's Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, which is a very important album to me, I guess, and a lot of nostalgia for it because I was about 12 years old when this album came out in 95, and my sister introduced me to the album. Never heard of Alanis Morissette, and didn't know this was a big album. Just like, okay, it was the first 90s album I ever listened to, because at that point I was only listening to like the Beatles and other 60s groups and maybe some 70s, and then that was my introduction to 90s kind of pop rock music and what was going on. And I loved the album when I first heard it when I was 12. It's very angsty, a lot of emotions in it. It feels like it's kind of her coming out party because she just did like these more pop friendly albums, and this one has a very edge to it. Her vocals have a real edge to it. You just feel all that in her vocals. Like she's really like, it's almost like a very personal album that's coming through there. And I think I still love today. And I have it on vinyl, and I was listening to it, and I go, man, it's still a really great album. And it won Grammy Album of the Year. I think You Ought to Know won like Song of the Year, Record of the Year. And it was the biggest selling album in 95. I mean, one of the biggest of the 90s. I mean, I didn't realize that the first album I heard in the 90s ended up being one of the best and most revered album of the 90s. So that was kind of cool. After that, I started listening to more 90s music anyways, but there are so many big hits on this album, even including like the opening song, All I Really Want, really good. Hand in My Pocket was a hit on the radio. Right Through You might have been too. That's such a catchy song. You Learn, I think, might have been a hit. I mean, all these songs sound like hits, but Ironic was definitely one of the biggest hits on here. You Ought to Know and Ironic, probably two biggest hits. I still love both of those. But Head Over Feet is probably my favorite song on the album. It's really catchy, really well written. Perfect also, really good ballads anyways. So yeah, great 90s album here at number 59. Number 58, we got Harvest by Neil Young. This is my favorite Neil Young album. After Gold Rush and Harvest are like two essential Neil Young. And like I said, and he was also in Buffalo Springfield again, and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Like, he may be in some of my favorite albums of all time because of the solo work and the different groups he's been in. Harvest I like the most, I think, because it's more acoustic, I feel like. While after Gold Rush had the big rocker like Southern Man, this has some of his best acoustic guitar work and harmonica work. It felt more like a singer-songwriter album, more of a folk style album that I really love. And it probably has my two favorite Neil Young songs on it. Old Man, oh man, that his vocals with that chorus, "Oh man, take a look at my life," is so good, and the acoustic guitar playing, of course. And then Heart of Gold is also amazing, so catchy and lyrically amazing, and yeah, two really, really great Neil Young songs. You also got Neil and the Damage Done, another really good, again, kind of more, low key, just him and the acoustic guitar type songs. He's a great electric guitar, lead guitar player. I mean, great guitar player. But I think I like his acoustic guitar playing even more. I think he writes some of his best music that way anyway. So, yeah, that's why Harvest here at number 58. Number 57, we have Love Strong from Christina Perri. This is a more recent style album, though I say it's not super recent, but compared to a lot of the albums on the list, this can be more recent. This album came out in 2011, so it's like 15 years old, maybe, if I'm doing my math right. It's mostly, Christina Perri from the her first big hit, Jar of Hearts, was on here. Great kind of breakup song. This whole album is basically songs that she wrote after breakups from different boyfriends in her life. So the whole song feels like, again, kind of like Alanis Morissette. It's a little more, uh, not edgy, but a little more angsty, maybe a little more, uh, you know, personal. It feels like a very personal album to her, very biographical, maybe in some senses, and kind of deals with, again, the sadness of breakups and stuff like that. But Christina Perri, if you don't know her, man, she has an amazing voice. I love her voice. Piano playing is also really great. This is definitely her biggest album. She had some other big hits like A Thousand Years or whatever was a huge hit for her, maybe her most well-known song. But this has some great songs that weren't hits on it as well, including Bluebird, Arms, Distance, maybe my favorite song on the album. I mean, just incredible, really catchy chorus there. Great vocals by her as well. Penguin I love as well. But yeah, this is definitely a great one. If you haven't heard of Christina Perri or Love Strong, definitely check this album out. It's one of my favorite now. All right, number 56, we got One of These Nights by Eagles. Of course, big fan of Eagles, one of my favorite all-time bands. Got 3 of their albums on here. I got one more, and you probably know which one that is. But One of These Nights is also a really great album, like another 10 out of 10 album by Eagles. It has lots of great albums, and they had this big run of like 5 number 1 albums or something like that, number 1 hit albums. And this definitely is, really going into. This is right before Hotel California, so I don't have Joe Walsh yet, but still a great Meisner and Fielder and all that, and the harmonies are amazing, and he still has some really big hit songs on this album as well. Of course, the title song, One of These Nights, is great. Lion Eyes, another big hit, and then Take the Limit. I mean, that's like a top 5 best Eagles song. Meisner singing it, actually. I love his tenor voice. It's so good. He doesn't sing a lot, but when he does, it's amazing. And I love that chorus on Take It to the Limit. So good. But yeah, After Thrill's Gone is also really good on here. Hollywood Waltz. I mean, yeah, it's just like a perfect album in my opinion. Anyways, if you like, some people don't like the Eagles. I love the Eagles. Love their overall sound. So it's right here at number 56. Number 55, we have Ram by Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney, and this is his second album. This is definitely his first like really big album. McCartney, the first McCartney album, McCartney 1 or whatever, McCartney has some good stuff on it. Obviously has it Maybe on My Maze, which is one of his best songs of all time, but it definitely wasn't very polished. It was a little rough, and he had a lot of filler songs on that album, and it was just him basically recording everything. Ram is him kind of proving that he can make a really good produced album with a lot of great, no fillers, really great pop songs in here. My favorite Admiral, Admiral Hersley, Uncle Albert, Admiral Hersley. Yeah, that song is so cool. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. Musically, it's so amazing. That Hands Across the Water part. Lots of great studio work there. I love that song. It was like a big hit for them on the album. But it has a lot of good stuff like Too Many People. The 2 Ram On songs on here are really good. I think Heart of the Country is a really good song as well. And then the closer, Backseat of My Car. What a hidden gem to close the album. It's so catchy. Yeah, one that really gets in your head. And I've heard a lot of people say this is one of their favorite, and I agree. It's a great song. Anyway, so yeah, Ram, great Paul McCartney album. And we go from that to number 54, The Stranger by Billy Joel. A great Billy Joel album. His biggest album. In fact, you might think 54 is a little low, but yeah, it's all these albums are amazing. So it's, it's hard where to put them. But I talked about this album recently, actually, on another channel. I think it was Scott's SoundLab Studios. He hasn't put it out yet, I don't think. But when he puts it out, you'll hear more of my thoughts on The Stranger. And I mean, it's his biggest album, big selling album for a good reason. Has 4, I mean, you can say 5 like big songs on it. Of course, Just the Way You Are is my favorite song on there. It's an amazing kind of love ballad, great lyrically, vocally. all that. She's Always a Woman. Um, She's a Woman to Me, whatever. Another great song. I mean, those are top tier, like Billy Joel songs. And then you got Moving Out. I mean, the open album. I mean, that's a top tier as well. It's so darn catchy to open up the album. And Only the Good Die Young is also super catchy. I mean, so you got four big hits there, and then of course you got Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, which a lot of people love. I don't love as much as other people, but also Vienna. Vienna is a really great song. I don't know if it's a big hit song, but it's pretty well known by Billy Joel fans. So I mean, when you got that many great hits on one album, yeah, it's gonna be a big one. So yeah, here at 54. At 53, we have Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan. It's my only Steely Dan album, and it's the debut album, but it's kind of when they were more yacht rock and less jazz fusion. I'm not a fan of their jazz fusion like Aja and Royal Scam. People love those albums. I don't know. I'm not into the jazz sound as much. This still has maybe some of that jazz sound, but not as heavy. Like I said, it has more of a soft rock feel to it, which I think really good. I wish they did more of these type of albums. I do like Pretzel Logic and Katie Lied though, but this is definitely the cream of the crop of their early albums, and it has my two favorite Steely Dan songs, which are amazing. Really in the Years, one of my favorite '70s songs. I mean, probably the best guitar playing on any song, plus the harmonies in the chorus are so good as well. And then Dirty Work is so good. I love the vocals by Palmer. The only one or two songs that he ever did with the band, and then he quit after the first album. It's like I would love to hear more from Palmer. I thought David Palmer, did a great job, and Dirty Work also has a great chorus and some great harmonies as well. Of course, Do It Again. It was a big hit as well on this album. But yeah, really good soft rock album here. 53. At 52, we have Pipes of Peace by Paul McCartney. Another Paul McCartney album. Again, I'm a huge Paul McCartney fan, so you're going to see a lot of Paul McCartney on here, as well as, of course, obviously the Beatles, Paul McCartney. He's my favorite musician, favorite singer-songwriter of all time. Pipes of Peace is such an underrated album. It's not one that Paul McCartney fans usually put at the top of their list, but it's one of my favorite albums of the 80s, in fact. I don't know, it gets a lot of slack because people feel like it's songs that are left over from the last album, Tug of War. These are like songs that he wrote during Tug of War, but didn't make the album, and then he put these songs together for Pipes of Peace. And funny enough, I like this album more than Tug of War, which has a lot of good stuff as well. It has the big duet with Michael Jackson, Say, 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 which is really good. The Other Me is great. So Bad is really good. I mean, Say, Say, Say is probably the only big hit off the album, but a lot of these songs are so good. They should have been big hits, but I even like, The Man, another Michael Jackson duet, another two good Michael Jackson duets on here. And it's funny because he did a great duet with Michael Jackson on Thriller as well around the same time. That's on his album. Average Person is really good. And Through Our Love is my favorite song on the album. And it's one of his most underrated songs. It is a great love song written by Paul McCartney. It should be talked about more. One of my all-time favorites anyway. So yeah, this is such an underrated album, such a good album. It's sad that nobody likes this album as much as I do. I feel like maybe Nick from Townsend 505. Besides that, everybody puts this album so low on the list. I'm like, no, this is so good. I don't know. It's one of those that's like, no one else gets it but me. But anyways. And the last album I'll talk about at 51 is Recovering the Satellites by Counting Crows. And this is my favorite album of theirs. August and Everything After is also a really good album, the first album. And doesn't quite make my list, but it comes very close. And this was my second album I kind of bought in the 90s, actually. And it's all because of one song that I absolutely loved. One of their biggest hits. Along December, one of my favorite. It's my favorite Counting Crows song. One of my favorite all-time 90s songs. Anyways, this came out in 96. So again, I was just getting into 90s music at that time. And so I bought this album just because I liked Along December. And the more I heard this album over the decades, I guess 30 plus years, which is crazy. I came out like 30 plus years ago. And It's got, I love Adam Durrett's voice. I think has one of my favorite vocalists. Such a unique sounding voice and hits big notes, but also shows a lot of vulnerability and emotion in his vocals as well. But great musicianship as well on the albums. Great all instrumentally, amazing too. And I think writing too, this is again another very personal album. I think you hear in Adam's voice because he made the first album, which had some big hits on it, but he took a couple years off, which is crazy. After having a big hit album, he kind of went through depression, took a couple years off, and then came back with this album, which seems a little more of a sadder recovery. I mean, Counting Crows did kind of sad. They're good at sad songs, I think, and this definitely has some sad stuff. A lot of it has a little more of a sadder tone to it. But I like it because it has a very emotional. I feel like it's very emotional, personal, in that sense. But Catapult, the beginning song, it should have been a huge. That beginning part is so great with the organ and the guitar and him coming in. It should have been a huge hit. Angels of Silences was a hit on the radio. It's probably their biggest rocker because this doesn't sound like the normal Counting Crow song. I mean, it's a heavy rock song with heavy guitar playing in it, and it rocks. I really love that as well. So those are the kind of the big songs on here, but everything on here is great. I mean, I'm Not Sleeping, Goodnight Elizabeth, Children Bloom, Have You Seen Me Lately, Miller's Angels. I could just go down the line. They're just really amazing song after amazing song, and one of the best albums of the 90s, in my opinion. So it's here at number 51, Recovering the Satellite. So that's my 75 through 51. I'm halfway through the list, 50 more albums to get to. And so thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for liking it. Thank you so much for the comments. I appreciate you guys that made comments on my first video. I really enjoy that. And just thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all.